Very good. Let's get going. So just standing, of course, give yourself some nice space. And then we're going to take our legs out wide, starting with a dynamic movement. We've got those arm circles. Very good. So just making sure the whole body kind of isn't rocking and rolling and swaying, just rolling the shoulders. Going smaller if you have any shoulder troubles, but bigger and bigger for better strength. 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're just going to hold it, turn the thumbs down. Circles again, any direction. Starting small, getting bigger as you feel confident to do so. Again, trying not to sway the body. 4, 3, 2, 1. Then thumbs back up, going small and quick. We've got to get warm this morning, so we're going to get the blood circulating a little bit faster by moving faster. Fast, 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 fast. 4, 3, 2, 1. Thumbs down, change direction, circle small and quick. Go, 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 go. That's it. Good. Keep breathing, of course. And 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let them swing and release. Good. Now just going to do a big hug. So really wrap those fingers around the back, giving yourself a nice big hug. Stay there. We're going to shrug those shoulders to the ears. Breathe in. Let the shoulders drop. Breathe out. Again, breathe in, up. And breathe out, down. One more time. And then release all together. Let the arms hang heavy or on the hips is fine. We're going to do the legs now. So we're just moving side to side. Bend one knee, then the other. Easy, right? To start with. We're going to add in a little bit more movement to coordinate, getting the brain switched on, coordinate our movements. So 3, 2, 1, and it's a reach and a pull. So forwards and behind. Reach, pull. So like you're grabbing apples off the tree, putting them in a box behind you. That's it. Good. Keep going. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lean to one side, hand down the straight leg, other hand overhead, side bend. Just let your body melt into that stretch. Then up we come, over to the other side. So bend the other leg, hand on the straight leg and reach over. And return back up, hands wide. Windmill, breathe in. And on the breath out, reach to the opposite ankle and return up tall, other side. Reach and up. Twist and reach. You can bend those knees if it helps. Starting to bend through the spine, rotating the thoracic, a little bit of lumbar rotation. Looking at the floor behind your feet as you reach to the ankle. 3, 2, and 1. Up tall, again, hands now down behind for our chest stretch. So if you like to link those fingers and reach behind, otherwise just reaching back, open those collarbones, let the ribs open, the diaphragm area. Big breath in and out. With those breaths, I want you to let the shoulders elevate on the breath in, and on the breath out, shoulder blades drop down to your back pockets. Good, one more time. And then release the fingers, hands to the front. Reaching forward, we're going into our clearing squat. So again, you want those feet roughly hip width apart. You can go wider, but if you do, have your knees follow the direction of your toes. Okay, otherwise hands are here, pretending like you're sitting on a stool behind you, and return up tall, hands beside. So just hands forward, sitting on the chair, hands down as you stand tall. So as you stand tall, I want you to think of finding that neutral spine position, that natural curve at the top. So you do have a little bit of mental energy going into your body's positioning, even though we're moving through a dynamic exercise. So sitting down and low on that really low stool, just tap your bottom on that imaginary chair and then stand tall, neutral spine position. 3 more. And 2. 1 and hold. This is quite a difficult one, okay? We're just gonna, I'll turn this way so you can see. Just gonna do a little tap and tap, but staying low in that squat. Arms are forwards to engage our postural muscles in the back of our body. Little tap, little tap. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold, squat, legs and hands stay still. Now we're going for some back taps. So still down low in the squat and tap behind, return, tap behind, return. Try to balance on that weight bearing leg, on that front leg. Keep focusing on a certain spot on the floor or the wall in front of you. Little tap, return, tap, return. Keep working. Getting the heart rate up, definitely. Working the bigger muscle groups now. And 4, 3, 2, 1, and standing up. Little shake, little wiggle. So none of that was specifically, exclusively Pilates, but you are warm and we're ready to go now. We're going to do a combo of things today. So going to the back end of your mat, facing forward, and our good old reaching up onto the toes, hands above. Breathe in, breathe out, drop the chin, roll the body and reach to the floor. Let your arms and your head hang heavy. On the next breath out, walk your hands out along the mat, knees come down onto hands and knees. Okay, from here, finding that neutral spine position again. So rolling the spine up into cat stretch, push the chest away from the floor, and let the belly and chest hang towards the mat into cow stretch. Again, lift, arching the back away, and drop down, let the belly hang. So keeping those arms straight-ish, rocking the pelvis, the lower and the middle, and a little bit of the upper back. Find that neutral, find your midpoint, that kind of natural curve that feels like the midpoint to you. And then from here, we're just going into an easy peasy leg tap behind. So pick a leg to start with, tap it behind and return. Other leg tap out and return. Fairly straightforward. Nothing else is to move. So keeping that back in neutral, keeping your arms straight-ish. A little soft bend in the elbows is perfectly fine and actually good for your joints. I'm on my knuckles this morning just because I do have a bit of wrist trouble. My baby's getting too heavy, I think. And I haven't been holding him correctly. So 4, 3, 2, and 1. Then with the next lot, it's still a leg tap, but we're going to add a lift and then tap and return. Join me now. So extend and tap, lift, tap and return. Check on neutral spine again. Try to keep that there. Even with the leg lift, it's tempting for our backs to arch. Try not to. Tap, lift, tap, return. Tap, lift, tap, return. So strong arms, meaning you're still holding that chest up away from the floor, not letting it sag. Your head is in line with the rest of your spine. Again, not letting the chin sort of poke forwards to the floor. and stretch and tap, lift and return. Tap, lift, tap and return. Still working those postural muscles in the lower part of our body. 2 more. Good, and return. Knees are together, toes tucked under, and then you can come onto the hands in front of the shoulders or down onto your elbows if you can't push too much weight through your hands. You probably know where we're going with this. We're doing those knee hovers. So when you're ready, we're going to lift, hover the knees just an inch or two off the floor. Breathe and hold. 4, 3, 2, and lower. Relax and wiggle. Reset. We're going to do that again. When you're ready, lift the knees, hover and hold. And 4, and 3, and 2, and 1, and knees down. Now, a challenge for those who want to do it. If you're with me, pop your hands even further forwards. You don't have to, of course. You can just repeat what we've just done. All right, hands are strong, arms are strong, tummy strong. Let's lift the knees, hover, stay here if you like, or push straight so the chest is over those hands. Strong tummy, hold that low hip plank position. For 4, 3, 2, 1. Push back, bend those knees and lower. All the way back now to child's pose. Have a good breath, arm stretching right up high. And let's go from here all the way onto our tummies. If you have brought a little cushion, now's the time to pop it under your head or under your chest if you know you need it there. Everyone else, just pop your hands under your head unless you're looking at the telly or computer. All right, from here, I've got my head lifted just so you can hear me a bit clearly, but we do want to keep the eyes down on the floor so you've got a little peach kind of tucked in under your chin. Then from here, it's a single arm reach out in front, comes around to the hip, back around to the front, and then under the head. Let's go, other arm. We reach out, around to the hip, back around to the front, then in and under the head. Swap hands, reach out, around to the hip, back to the front, under the head. Alternating arms, easy exercise that does actually load that upper back and shoulder girdle quite well. So keep it slow, make sure you breathe. We're going to build up to some higher loads soon. Just do what you feel comfortable doing. I don't have an answer for... Sorry, Siri, I wasn't talking to you. Now, on this last one, hands go under. I want you to lift the head and the arms off the floor. For those that do have some extension issues, pop a pillow or a towel or a ball or something here under your chest just to support you in that position. Everybody else, arms up as well for a really tough hold. Arms now together. We reach forward, around to the hip, back around to the front and under the head. Stay in this hover position. Arms forward, arms around, arms out and under. Breathe in, reach, breathe out, pull to the hips, breathe in, back to the front, breathe out, hold. Again. So the legs are still doing not much at all. If the legs are lifted off the floor, because this is how you need to counterbalance, then just lower the body a little bit and do one arm at a time. We don't want those legs up off the floor. We're nearly done. Last one, reach around to the hips, back to the front, under the head and resting down. Well done. Now, of course, the next one is a high load because that's how I roll. We're going to do arms and legs together. Bit of endurance work too, because it's going to be building into a secondary challenge, just so you know, can mentally prepare. So firstly, head up away from those hands. The hands come wide just to the sides of your face. You can push on those forearms a bit to lift your chest if you need to, but again, use a pillow or a cushion under the chest to support you if you need that. No kinking of the neck unless you've got to just see what's going on. Try to keep those eyes on the floor in front. Now we go opposite arm, opposite leg, lift, stretch the arm forward, return and lower. Opposites, lift, stretch the arm, return the arm and lower both. Opposites, up, reach the arm, return and lower. Nice and slow. Then 2 more. And we're going to pick up that pace. This is your last one. Up, reach forward, return, lower. Now we go up and out and down. Up, out, and down. Up, out, and down. Good. Keep working. Lift and reach. Return together. Still got that little peach under the chin. If you're getting any discomfort anywhere, you can lower the head to the floor. Keep working the arms or the legs if you can't do both. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, arms and legs both hover up off the mat, or you can just do one or the other if you can't do both. You choose. If you're choosing the legs, hold them up and add a flutter. If you're choosing arms, hold them up and we just add a reach and return. A reach and return. Now you can do both. You can do the leg flutter and the arms if you're so inclined. Again, eyes down directly below the head. Keep working hard, whichever you choose to do. You can alternate arms or legs if you can't do both. Should be a slight fatigue burn even kicking in that upper back. And 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Relax everything down. Take a breather. Good. Now, mini cobras. So it's not quite as loaded. We're going to bring the hands and the forearms or elbows together in front of you if you can do so. Yep, not always easy for everyone. Now we're kind of sagged into that position at the moment. I want you to draw your belly button up off the mat if you can, or try to. It's the thought, and it's just contracting those muscles to draw that belly button off the floor. Then from here, we're going to push the chest away from the floor. Good, and just hold that so the shoulder blades are kind of wrapping around the sides of your rib cage. Then we're going to let the belly and the chest sag back to the mat. Let's start that again. Belly button pull up, then push the chest away from the ground. Elbows pushing down into the mat and return. Sag. One more. Belly button first, then the chest push away. Now hold here on your right arm. We're going to lift the left arm up towards the ceiling. It's not easy. You might not get far. Return to the mat. Let's try push on the other side. So push the left elbow down, lift the right arm up and return. Let's try that again. Keep the belly up off the mat. Twist and reach and return. Push the left arm down, lift the right arm up and return. And collapse, relax, hands in under the chest, brace your tummy. Now push up to hands and knees. And we're going to deload through cat stretch or child's pose. You choose. Some of these would be familiar movements, but just done in a slightly different way, different prompts. That just challenges the body to work in a variety of ways. Now, back pushing onto our side. So starting in this side saddle position and onto the elbow. Just take your time to get comfy there. Just going to tuck my shirt in so you can see my waist a bit better. All right, so knees together. The one thing that we really need to watch for is this shoulder. I don't want it to sort of pop and sag away from me. You need to keep it nice and strong in the joint socket. Other hand on the hip or in front for a bit of support. We're going into side hip lifts or side planks. So lift the hips, push them forward, return and drop down. We lift and push and return and lower. Again, lift, push, return and down. Remember that shoulder. If you're getting some tension or pulling in the neck, you can look at the elbow on the mat. Just takes the load into a different place on the neck. Again, lift, hips forward, hips back and return. And lift, hips forward and back and return. Now up and hold it. Lift, hold. The hand above reaches overhead. Let the hips lift higher. Hand to the hips, drop to plank. Hand over, lift the hips higher and lower to plank. Again, lift and return, hold, hips down. We're going to slide that underside arm out and just rest down on that arm. Good, get comfy, feet together, good old clams. Making sure your hips are stacked, meaning they're not rolling forwards or backwards. And under that side waist, we're going to lift up so a piece of paper could slide underneath there, okay? So try to engage that waist up off the mat. Then open the knees and lower. Lift, breathe in, breathe out, lower. And keep that side waist engaged, lifting away from the floor. And 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Good, feet off the mat. Don't roll the hips forward though. Try to stay balanced with the waist off the floor. Then again from here, normal clam. Open and close, open and close. Doing just a few more reps of this exercise. 3, 2, 1. Hold the knees open. We're going to do some kick outs. 1 and 2. Knee up high, just kick and tap the toes. Kick and tap the toe. 3, 2, 1. Feet together, knees down and return to the mat. Not over yet, unfortunately. You can pop your hand here for support if you need it. Double legs, slide out straight and lift off the floor. Still have that waist lifted off the mat underneath. Hand on the hips if you've got good balance. And then from here, we're just trying to lift those feet higher and lower, higher and lower, higher and lower for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hover and hold if you can. Drop it into a rest at any time. The top hand now, unless you need it for balance, it can stay there. We're going to go up overhead, then bring elbow to knee. Up overhead, elbow towards the knee. Again, that bottom leg is still up in the air. Keeping your waist off the mat as well. Lots happening. Balancing on that side is hard enough. 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Everything can come back down and have a breather. The top leg though, we're going to pop it somewhere more comfortable in front. You can roll the hips now to let that fall forwards on the ground. The top body though, we're going to do a couple of side crunches. So hands behind the head, elbows drop wide, and twist back to look up at the ceiling. Just go as far as your body lets you. Don't force it beyond what's comfortable. Then we're going to try and use the hands to support the head, but use the tummy muscles in the side of our body, called our obliques, and breathe out to lift to look over your hip. Breathe in, return. Breathe out, lift to look. Breathe in, relax the head. Go again. So trying to keep those elbows wide, but you are supporting your head a little bit with your fingertips. Try to bring your ribs down to meet your hip bones. And 3 more. And 2. Good, and 1. And bring those arms back to the front, out together like a crocodile. You know this one very well. This is our rotation stretch. So slide the top hand forwards. From there, reach it up, roll back. Drop the elbow towards the ground, and then you can stretch that arm out. The knee still trying to stay on the floor in front. Back to the front, return and roll around. We do the same again. So stretch forward, reach out, roll back, open wide. And return to the front. One more the same. Stretch it, reach it, roll it. Breathe through it. And return when you're ready. No rush. Legs back together and pushing into side sit position again. Good. Now, mermaid stretch. Your legs can stay here. You can split them wide or even kick one of those legs out straight if that helps for you. We're going over the feet into a side stretch again. So as far as your body allows. It opens up all these obliques that we've loaded with the side planks earlier. Now we go the other side onto the elbow, reach again overhead, letting the rib cage come up towards the ceiling and the hip bones stay down on the mat. Good. While you're here, we're going to do a bit of lats as well. So turn the chest down and stretch the fingers towards the end or over the end of your mat. This should help get a stretch from under the shoulder blade and down around that upper middle back. Good, release that, return up to sitting. And then it's bringing the foot that's almost behind you around to the front and over the knee if you can get it that far. You can, if you need to, slide that bottom leg out straight. Hug the knee towards you. And if you're not feeling a stretch, add a little rotation. So if it's your left knee, you want to hug that left knee tight and look to your left. If it's your right knee, hug it in tight and look to your right. Whatever works for you. And keep breathing. Remember, take it easy now. The heart rate should be dropping. Let's unravel those legs. I'm going to come over the other side now. Staying up in that sitting position onto, propped up on our elbow. Get comfy-ish. Remember, it's the shoulder we're watching for this first set. Making sure it doesn't sort of hang and slump out. We're going to keep it strong in the socket. Legs together, hand on hip unless you need some balance support. We're going to come up and push those hips forward and back and down. Lift and push and back and return. Again. Such a fundamental exercise, this one. I could harp on about why, what we're working and why that's important. But I just want you to concentrate on what you're doing right now. So lift, hips forward, hips back and down, keeping that shoulder tucked in under the socket or in the socket even. Last one, up and hold. Good. and arm above if you can, coming overhead, let the ribs reach higher, and back to that plank hold. Arm up and bend, hips up higher, and return to plank. One more, up and over, stretch, and return, hand down, hips down, and slide that underside arm out. Have a little lay down, somewhere comfy-ish. Get yourself ready for clams. If you need to, fine. Bring those legs up further in front if that's more comfortable for you. Then we go. Feet stay together, knees open, knees closed. If that doesn't feel the same as the other side, it's probably because I forgot to tell you to lift your waist a little bit up off the mat. Try not to roll the hips or the pelvis. We're just lifting and rotating that thigh bone in the hip joint. And 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Just a slight little break. We're going to bring those feet up without rolling the hips down. Check your body position. Check that waist is engaged up. Then again, lift the knees and lower. Sometimes all these fiddly bits don't really matter a great deal. And sometimes it really changes which muscles are activating and being the primary movers of the exercise. Again for 3, and 2, waist up, 1, hold those knees apart, add the kick, tap the toes, and kick, and tap. Good, keep working, keep breathing. And 3, and 2, and 1, and return, legs down, well done. Hand in front if you need it. Legs slide out, double leg lift, try to get your balance. Waist is still just off the floor under there. Get a piece of paper through that gap. Then again, feet lift and lower. Little bit higher, little bit lower. If yours only move half a centimeter, it's still movement. Okay, you're still here, you're still exercising, you're still getting those benefits. 3, 2, 1, and hover and hold. Doesn't have to be too high. Top arm if you can, overhead. Then we bring elbow to knee and stretch. Elbow to knee. This is good for balance, of course. Good for core strength. Keep working that bottom leg off the mat if you can. Drop it if you're really wobbling. Last one. And stretch everything, return. Well done. Bring the top knee in front, let it rest on the floor. Excuse me. Then we're going to bring both hands behind the head. Turn the chest to look at the ceiling as far as your body allows. Elbows wide, and we're going to lift to look over your hip. Breathe out, breathe in, return. Again. Good. Now, yes, this is targeted strength work, but lying back down into that rotated and extended position is mobility work for the spine. Keep working. Breathe out, lift. Breathe in, lower. Last one here. Good, and rotate the top around to the front for those rotation stretches. Slide your top arm forwards. From there, reach up, drop the elbow behind, then reach it out. Still trying to keep that knee on the floor in front. And back around to the front. Let's go again. Top arm forwards. From there, reach up, twist back. Chest stretch. Thoracic spine. Mobility. Also a hip stretch. Come back to the front. Slide forwards, open and roll behind. And back to the front. Well done. From here, legs back together and push up to sitting. Again, just something comfortable with those legs. If you want to open them apart, slide one straight, whatever. We're going up and over the harder way first. So towards the foot end of your mat. Good. Then release, coming down onto the elbow. Other side, of course. Ribs up, hips down. Now we add in a bit of our latissimus, so turning the chest down, reach the hand away, up and over the top. Well done. Release, excuse me, release, return, up to sitting. And then we go foot up and over the knee. So it's the opposite to last time. If it was your left knee, it's now the right knee. Need to make sure we balance and stretch out the right ones. So hug it into the chest. Add a little twist if you want to. You don't have to. Hugging the right knee, twisting to look to the right, and vice versa. Excuse me, a bit croaky. Right. We're going to release off that. So unpretzel yourself. Stay in sitting, facing the TV. Knees up in front with room to roll back soon. So if we come down the bottom end, if you can. Good. All right. Sitting super tall, exaggerated posture. Helium balloon is attached to the crown of your head, so it's pulling you straight up, floating you nice and high. Hands here. Excuse me. Now we're just holding that posture. So up on those sit bones, straight spine, arms forward. Breathe in, and then on the breath out, just tuck that tailbone just a tiny bit. So it's just the bottom of the spine going into a C shape. Then come back up, sit propped up on those sit bones. Tuck the sit bones under, roll behind, breathe out, breathe in, come back up, sit tall. The chest stays lifted, just sort of this bottom part of your back. Again, breathe out, tuck the tail, breathe in, lift. Breathe out, tuck, breathe in, lift. Anyone with tailbone issues, especially if you've had kids that have really damaged things down there, this won't be very comfortable. So just wait for the next one. Last one, tuck, hold, arms now reach, out wide, back up, and forwards up, return to that high sit, then hands behind. Fingers can point any direction that's comfortable for your wrists, or you can drop down onto those elbows if you need to take the pressure off the wrists. We're going to push the feet into the floor and lift the hips up as high as you can get, okay? Lift, 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 squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Open the shoulders, looking to the ceiling. Breathe. This is an excellent but difficult position to be in. 4, 3, 2, 1. Come all the way back down. Slide your legs straight and sitting tall again. Nice and high. Hands in front. Breathe in, lift those ribs. Breathe out, forward stretch towards the toes. Tuck the chin, roll back up. We're going to do that same thing again. Breathe in, lift up. Breathe out, fold forwards. Reach further if you can than last time. Tuck the chin and roll back up. Up tall, last one, lift and forwards. This time we hold the stretch, grab onto your shins, your ankles, your knees, your toes. Pull your chest towards the thighs. If that's really painful or uncomfortable, bend your knees slightly. Pull yourself in closer. And release, come back up to sitting. All right, working us still on the obliques. We've got a lot of oblique work today and it's really incredibly beneficial. So up here again. There's two options. Let me quickly show you. As you recline back, you can just add an elbow tuck. Okay, so it's a little twist of the upper body. The more challenging one is what we've done in the past, is a full arm reach behind you. Your choice. Breathe into set. Breathe out, tuck and lean back, reach and rotate behind. Return to center, sit tall, breathe in. Other side, breathe out, roll back, reach. Back to center, sit tall. Breathe out, roll back, reach. Breathe in, return. Breathe out, roll back. Breathe in, return. The front arm should be still just reaching in front. Keep it straight. And other side. Good. One more each way. Last one. Hold here, breathe in. On the breath out, tuck the tail, roll all the way to the floor slowly, as slow as you can anyway. Once the shoulder blades hit the floor, those arms reach up overhead, long stretch. Couple of deep breaths just to open up through the tummy, the diaphragm. And then bring those hands over towards just next to the body, next to your hips. Good, good. Walk the feet in. Couple of pelvic tilts, so just rocking the hips forwards and backwards. Try to flatten the back into the mat and then arch the back off, just little bits both ways. And find your midpoint, again, that neutral spine position. There should be a very, very slight space or even less pressure. So you're not firmly pushing your back and tummy into the mat. Should be a little bit of give there. Then we're going to go into our leg circle sequence. So arms beside you or across the chest is less balanced support, so more challenging. Hands here just adds a little bit of support. Pick a leg, any leg, lift it up straight as possible. Okay, if you do have a slight knee bend, that's okay. Squeeze the thigh to try and straighten it and circle the leg. If your toes were a pencil, you're drawing a circle on the ceiling. The bent knee that's still got your foot on the floor stays as still as possible. So try not to wobble one leg as the other one controls a circular movement for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Easy, right? Come on down. Let's do the other side. Leg kick straight, squeeze the thigh, and circles again. Keep the tummy strong, keep the back in neutral, keep the bent knee still. Arms are relaxed wherever they are, not shrugging those shoulders up to the ears. And 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Feet down. Cool. We're going to make that harder naturally. We come into tabletop, one knee, then the other. Again, find and keep neutral spine. Arms relaxed wherever they are. And then one leg stays here in tabletop, the other leg kicks tall. Circles again. Keeping them small to start with. You can get bigger if you feel strong and stable. This is hard because holding that leg up is heavy. Trying to have it straight if your hamstrings are really pulling is a lot on the thigh and hip flexors. Strong on the tummy muscles. Keep the bent knee still and make sure you breathe. For 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to tabletop, other side. Lots of endurance for the tummy. Here we go. Circles. Keeping that bent knee still. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tabletop, hug your knees in or feet to the floor, whatever you like for a bit of active recovery. A little wiggle and a little roll side to side. All right, back to tabletop. Neutral spine, of course. Check on that. Knees together. Good. Now we're going to keep them in this position here and do a double knee circle. So your knees together, circling around the same direction. Arms beside you or across the chest. We are moving quite a lot now, so don't worry too much about what that lower back's doing. Side to side, up and down, every direction. Now, back to tabletop hold, change direction. It builds up on you, this does. It's a bit of a surprise ab workout. 4, 3, 2, tabletop hold. If you're with me, double leg stretch, little fingertip support if you need it, or hands down beside you. Right, now instead of circles, we're going to draw the alphabet. So letter A, letter B. You can do capitals or little letters, your choice. Work your way through as far as you can get. It doesn't matter if you don't get all the way to the end. You can have a break at any moment. And if that's too heavy, too much, do it with that bent knee position. Again, you can do it with those knees rather than the toes. Keep working your way through. You're doing really well. All right, I'm up to U, V, when you're finished or when you need a break, just bring those knees in and feet to the floor. Well done. Have a little breather. We're nearly there. We've got bridging next, so a different muscle group. Let's have a go. Let's have those feet up close to the sit bones, just comfortably close, not tucked in too tight. Hands beside you or across the chest, and just lift your hips towards the ceiling and lower halfway. Lift again, lower halfway, and up and down. Just hinging here. This is a pure strength program for the hips and legs. Pushing the heels into the mat to get your height. If it's arcing your back and hurting, you're going a little bit too far. Try to just tuck that tailbone under a little bit as you lift. Last 2. And on that last one, lower all the way down to the floor. Excellent. Don't move anywhere. Lift your right knee to tabletop. We've got 6 single legs. We're going to lift all the way lower. Hips up high and down to the mat. Again, lift and lower. The knees pushing straight up to the ceiling and down. 2 more. Last one. Swap legs. Again, drive it up, lower all the way down. Drive it up and lower. Do what you can do. If you're not lifting far, that's okay. You're still lifting a little, still working those muscles. I think we're on our last one. I did lose count. Funny that. And lower both feet. Well done. Cross one ankle over the other knee. Bring both legs up over the tummy. Cuddle them in. Hold on to wherever you like, whatever's comfortable for you. And we just slowly release out of that and swap the other ankle over the knee and bring those legs again up and over the tummy or chest. And release both feet back to the floor. Slide your legs straight. Long stretch again, so arms overhead. And you probably know where we're going now, up into sitting. So breathe in, and on the breath out, engage your tummy, lift your arms, your head, and the rest of your torso to sitting up nice and straight if you can get there. Good. Big breath in at the top, then breathe out and stretch it forward. Head down. And release. All right, bring the knees in. Just roll over to hands and knees. And we're going to move into standing slowly from here. So however you can, leaning on your foot if you need to, on your knee if you need to. Made it. Excelente. Right, 1 foot forward, big split stance. Bottom leg heel down, front knee bend. The wider your legs, the less you'll need to bend that front knee. We're trying to get a little calf stretch in the back leg there. Balance as well, of course. And now we want to lift that heel off the floor, push the hips further forward, opening up through this front hip flexor now. So if it's your left leg behind, we want that left arm directly up to the ceiling and just gently pushing those hips to the ground. And release, swap it around. Heel on the floor, bend that front knee as far as you need to get a little calf stretch. Good, heel up, hips forward, arms straight above. Nope, balance. And let that one go. Feet together. Breathing in. Let's go up onto those toes. And breathing out, reach to the toes. Let your head drop, arms fall heavy. And slowly roll back up again. Take your time, shoulder roll. Good, now shoulders slightly back and down. Tilt your ear to one side. And drop the chin to the chest. Rolling slowly around to the other side. Chin to the chest, back to the first stretch. Good, and then back to center. And that's it. You girls are done for another day. Thank you for joining me.